Mr. Reeser, related.
You will.
Okay, so there would be the main. Alrighty.
We'll call the meeting order or the continued hearing to order. Present is myself, Rusty Graff, Vice Chair, Member JD Decker. Not present today is Chairman Reeser, Member Weekly, and Member Vasquez, all of which have excused absences. We'll call to order. JD, would you please? Sure. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So checking our affidavits and record, it appears that we are in compliance with the open meeting law. Mr. Freeland?
I'm sorry. What was the question?
Checking the affidavits, notice and everything else, it appears we are in compliance with the open meeting law.
Other than the missing members and the fact that we don't have a quorum.
And we're going to go over that here in a second.
But fair enough.
So the meeting has been noticed properly. However, because we don't have a quorum, we're going to discuss an issue. We have started the hearing regarding the rate issue request by the applicant. And under NRS 233B 124, we have the ability to proceed and allow Chairman Reeser to read the record and the proceedings of today and go forward with the proceeding. We have informed parties as to what's going on before this, and we have made a proposal to go forward. I want to give each of the parties, the applicant and the interveners and anybody that responded, the opportunity to voice any objection as to proceeding here today on the record.
Good morning, Khalid Presser on behalf of Desert Cab. I think the tension for the applicant is obviously everyone's here. Logistically, it makes all the sense in the world to proceed. Our fundamental concern is one of the pivotal decision makers, Chairman Reeser, is not present. And given the substance and the thoughtful questions that were posed and issues raised yesterday by Chairman Reeser, we see some detriment to him not participating in the questioning and hearing his concerns, primarily because this will go to a decision, and the ability to address any questions that he has would be crucial and critical to what the applicant believes is part and parcel to the process.
Morning, Robert Uriel, Captain. We agree with the statements that were made on behalf of the applicant. I do believe, especially in light of questioning of Mr. Andrews by board members and those remarks, having some time to respond to those, so we understand the concerns of the various members, and continuing the hearing for testimony, I think would be advantageous to the parties and to the board.
Okay.
Morning, Neil Tomlinson on behalf of Intervenor IBSC IP LLC. We certainly share the same concerns as council who spoke before me, but if it's the pleasure of the board to move forward today, we have no objection to that.
Scott Shearer, Brownstein Hyatt Barber Shrek on behalf of interveners, Yellow Checker Star, New Cab, Taxi Management, Z-Trip. Well, Z-Trip's not an intervener. Concur Mobility. We share the concern that we'd love to have Chair Reeser here to ask questions, but we also feel it's important to get this matter concluded and to get the witnesses on the record. I know there's been a proposal by the Attorney General's office, and we we'd be willing to support that proposal as well.
Good morning, everyone. Jessica Guerra from the Attorney General's office here on behalf of the administrator. The administrator's point is very blunt. He wants this to move forward. I do propose that because the board will have the opportunity to review the record anyway, that the parties have an opportunity to submit a closing brief, as there are about 6 witnesses left, and I don't know what amount of time is going to be required to hear those 6 witnesses. So for sake of time, instead of having extended closing statements that would need to be probably read through and recessed in order to write it out, we can just have closing briefs and have essentially a thoughtful argument on paper. Thank you.
So it is our decision, or it's my decision as vice chair to go ahead and proceed. We believe we have the authority to do so under NRS 233B 124. Chair Reeser is going to have the opportunity to review the record in total, and that we will deliberate at a later date, which will be noticed up and agendized. So we understand the issues, but we also have 6 witnesses ready to go. We have at least 4 or 5 attorneys, 6 attorneys that are here, and the clock is ticking. There wouldn't be the opportunity to address or name additional witnesses or to address additional or new information. We agree with the closing briefs. If that's how you want to handle it, then we'll do closing statements by brief according to the local rules. And everybody, if you want to submit an appendix, please feel free to do so. We'll handle that accordingly. One other agendized issue is the public hearings regarding the pilot programs, items 3, 4, and 5, which are also on the record. Because we do not have a quorum, we're not in the same position. That was intended to be, those were intended to be items that we would deliberate upon and make rulings upon. We cannot do that today or tomorrow because we do not have a quorum. So what we have, we've consulted with council. Council does not object that we agendize these on the next calendar, if that's possible. Mr. Administrator, Mona, if we can, we get that onto the next calendar and agendize it accordingly, and handle that way. So that way, all that we've got left to do today and tomorrow is to get through the 5 or 6 witnesses that we have left today and their testimony. So, Ms. Ermsrud, would you have your next witness? Or Captain, do you have your next witness? Okay. Show him, or show him and have you swear.
Okay. Raise your right hand, please. Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
The witnesses, we filed testimonies supplemental.
Mr. Yorio,
Post-
if you would just put on the record what exhibits those are.
Yes. We filed testimony is exhibit 23. And supplemental testimony is 24. I do believe that Council for Taxi Management and Urban Mobility can cross if they so choose. So we'll give council the
You're just submitting that, and we've already submitted the depositions on the record yesterday. So then we'll go forward with Mr. Schur with cross-examination.
I have no questions, Your Honor.
Any of the other parties have any questions? The applicant?
None for the.
Okay. Mr. Tomlinson?
Thank you.
None for the administrator.
Yeah, proceed.
Yes.
Mr. Bordenau, what is your position at Kaplan?
I'm currently the VP of Engineering,
How long have you held that position?
about a year now.
And have you been employed by Kaplan prior to taking that position?
I have.
And what positions prior to that did you have?
Multiple, all dealing with software, leading software development, designing software development, everything software development.
Make sure you keep your voice up so the reporter can hear. And when did you first commence employment with Kaplan?
It was 2008.
When I ask you, you could generally summarize for us the development and improvements of Kaplan technology that you've overseen over the past 10 years.
So Captain's got a couple of products that we focus on. Fleet Manager is our taxi management platform that helps with scheduling, leasing, driver scheduling, trip sheet reconciliation, meter reconciliation, electronic trip sheet logs, et cetera. Driver management, vehicle maintenance tickets. We have our dispatching platform called Dispatch Studio, which runs e-hailing aspects to the DT5 soft meter. In 2017, we helped orchestrate universal dispatch. Dispatch Studio was a key component of starting universal dispatch between Yellow Checker Star, New Cab, Whittlesey, Henderson, Desert, and then now ACAB, a coordinated citywide dispatching system. The DT5 is the regulated NTEP certified taxi meter installed in the vehicle. It acts as the smart terminal and the taxi meter, and then all the updates that go along with all those products.
And in your original pre-trial testimony, have you listed the functionality of the components you've just described?
Yes.
And with respect to, and this is Exhibit 23, can you identify the ones in paragraphs 3, 4, and 5 that have been implemented in the last 10 years?
So one of the key features would be the leasing module in Fleet Manager.
And what is that?
So it's a way for us to track driver leases now that leasing is available. So in conjunction with the DT5, operators can schedule drivers on a lease, whether that's a daily, a weekly, multi-hour lease. Lets them configure the different aspects of charging for the lease. Does all the accounting for that, integrates with different payroll systems, Great Plains, QuickBooks, et cetera. That was one key thing in the last couple of years. We recently implemented a real-time lost and found management system with both the DT5 and Dispatch Studio systems to help, with the lost and found handling of items, campaigns going out to the DT5s so that passengers can, more quickly identify, or the system can more quickly identify potentially involved vehicles in the lost item, send those campaigns to drivers, survey the drivers automatically, and then coordinate the return of the items back to the drivers. There's a web portal that was developed recently in the last 2 years where all the different operators of Cabot can have their own view into what's happening with that lost and found in real time and log the items accordingly.
Are there any others that you were found to be the most time intensive to develop and implement those functionalities developed in the last 10 years?
I'm going to object, and we're going well beyond the scope of this written testimony. This is information that wasn't provided previously. So I want to lodge that objection.
Yeah, do you have a response before?
I do. The witness is speaking about entries that he's made in his pre-filed testimonies, and he's just elaborating on what they are and what they do.
Can you direct me to where it is in his pre-filed testimony?
Sure. paragraphs 3, 4, and 5 of his pre-filed testimony. Exhibit 23.
And you're saying that the questions that you're asking currently are involving those 3 paragraphs.
Correct.
All right, I'll overrule for now, but I'll listen to see what he's saying.
Madam Reporter, could you read the last question back, please?
Questions? Are there any others that you have found to be the most time intensive to develop and implement those functionalities in the last 10 years?
You can answer.
Oh, just the ones that I previously.
Have you received feedback from the operators, the functionalities and improvements that you've described and referenced in your pre-filed testimony?
We do constantly, which we like that. We meet with the operators regularly. We take all their feedback. The system is really developed for them and by them. So we take all of that feedback, positive or negative, and use that to improve the system for any of the operators.
And is the regular meetings, is that the case today as it was over the past years?
Yes.
And what feedback have you received from the operators about the particular functionalities that you described earlier?
None, no specifics come to mind at this moment, but it is constant. We are always updating and improving. On average, we do about 2 updates per month, I think, to the DT5 system. Fleet Manager Dispatch Studio system are also regularly updated based on feedback or new feature requests that come in from any of the operators.
And heard the term over-the-air updates. Can you explain what that is?
The over-the-air updates are a way of updating the software using the cellular update technology on the DT5. So we can push that over the internet to the DT5 in order to update the system. So those are pushed, not opted into.
So they're pushed.
It's pushed, not opted into by the driver. Yeah.
Have you received feedback from the operators with respect to that functionality?
We do on a regular basis.
Has it been favorable or unfavorable?
It depends on what is there. It depends on what's asked, right? Sometimes there are bugs, right? As with everything. Sometimes we implement features that we think are going to be beneficial, but we end up rolling back based on either driver feedback or changes in the operator's minds, right? But a lot of times it's mainly met with new feature requests.
Understood. Are there any new feature requests that are under consideration at the present time by Captain?
There is an extensive backlog, not that I could recall from memory, but yeah.
I want to speak to you about revisions to the DT5 to accommodate surcharges in compliance with taxi cab authority restrictions. Is that something that you have attended to recently?
Yes.
Approximately when?
I think our last meeting on it was maybe earlier this year when we, when the board approved a 6-month surcharge increase for EDC, SHOT Show, maybe one other convention. Can't recall offhand. This might be the second year that we've done them.
Okay. And can you explain to us, not too technically, what is involved with revisions to DT5 to accommodate those surcharges?
Yeah, we modify the tariff schedule according to the surcharge schedule with respect to what dates and time the surcharge is allowed to be applied. Done automatically once the DT5 is programmed with what those dates and times are from the board order. The DT5 will then apply the necessary surcharge, whether within a geo restricted boundary So for example, picking up at EDC, dropping off somewhere else in the city is one surcharge example. That has to be programmed to the DT5 and then sent out on an over-the-air update so that those rate changes, whatever they are, can be applied. Those surcharges can be applied to the rate.
And has that functionality been fully implemented at this point?
It has.
And now with, you're familiar with functionality involving soft meter GPS?
Yeah.
You explained what that,
A soft meter.
Again, District Board Member not only had the opportunity to put in written testimony, had the opportunity to put in supplemental written testimony after. This is going well beyond what was in his either written testimony or his supplemental. We discussed this yesterday. We were assured there are going to be no surprises, no sandbagging. Now, I just think it's inappropriate to allow him to go on this lane to try and address things that were not addressed previously in either his written testimony, supplemental written testimony, or in his deposition.
Mr. Iorio, what's your response?
uh, this particular functionality, I believe, has some reference in the paragraphs in the pre-file testimony. I'd ask the witness to identify the GPS calculation.
So the GPS soft metering, while is a capability we always want.
No, I don't want your response. I
sorry.
want you to direct me
Sorry,
to
no, I
which
don't.
paragraph is referencing the soft metering function that you're testifying about.
I think it came after the,
Then I'll sustain the objection. Move on, Mr. Iorio.
Understood. Is there a how recent did the soft meter GPS come up in connection relative to your pre-file testimony?
in the last 2 months, I would say 2 to 3 months, the board has, or the administrator has allowed us to experiment.
I believe because recent development, this should be allowed to explain what they were doing for something this recent, which would be after the date of the pre-file testimony.
I believe we have. When was discovery closed? So are you saying that it came about after July 16th?
Possibly.
You can't say
yes.
possibly, you gotta say one way or
Yes.
the other. All right. I'm still not gonna allow it because I think that we have the record that we have. Everybody had the ability to depose people and submit information and documents regarding that. We have a timeline that we had accordingly. And it also sounds like that this is a more of an advancement and a continuing type function, that sort of thing. So I'm gonna sustain the objection.
Understood. Is there a functionality to deal with high flagging that is referenced in your pre-file testimony?
There is, yes. It's the automatic high flagging detection using AI.
Just explain what paragraph and what line number.
That's on paragraph 3 towards the very bottom, second to last bullet point.
Could you explain what high flagging is?
Yes, so using the camera system that we have installed in the vehicles, we have both a forward-facing and a cabin-facing camera. We use the cabin-facing camera in conjunction with the driver's shift and trip log to periodically detect, using AI, the number of passengers that are present in the vehicle. Should there ever be more than one in the vehicle, we can alert the operator that there may be a high flagging incident. High flagging describes when a driver is transporting a passenger without the meter being turned on.
I see. Okay. And How much time did it take to develop, to implement that development?
That was probably a 6-month project, and then we recently did a revision. Took about 2 months to improve the detection algorithm.
Is it now fully implemented?
It is today, yes.
Did you attend the hearing yesterday morning on the application for a pilot program to allow a rider to select transportation via a TNC app?
I did, yes.
And did you hear Administrator Park's comments on the new GPS technology?
I do recall, yes.
And do you recall what he said about it?
That both Captain using the DT5 and Z-Trip using AutoCAB's technology are running a pilot for soft metering.
Did he make a comment about whether he thought that would be beneficial to the operators?
Yes.
And what do you recall him saying on that subject?
I don't know if Mr. Park pointed out the benefit to the operator. I could certainly comment on it. I know that he said that it was going well and he was familiar with the DT5. And they were happy with the progress.
And what would your view be that being beneficial to the operators?
The soft metering would allow them to use essentially the same equipment, have an easier install time, getting a vehicle turned in to a taxi, less invasive install on the vehicle, less third-party equipment potentially needed to be involved, and no need to, they could skip the pulse calibration.
And are you involved in providing input to that pilot program?
Yes.
And what input have you provided at this point?
Objection. We're going on. Other programs not.
No further question.
Thank you. Ms. Bremser,
Pass the witness.
comments?
No questions.
Mr. Sheriff? Ms. Greer?
I do have some questions. Morning, Mr. Bornero. Do you remember me?
Yes.
I just kind of want to revisit some of the questions that were asked during your deposition. Before I go any further, do you recall when your deposition was taken? I can try to find a binder for you that might have it.
Time frame?
Let me just clarify. Yep, you're right. June 24th, 2025. Do you, or let me rephrase, you do recall asking me a line of you do recall me asking a line of questions to you about what this matter consists of, correct?
Yes.
You are aware that this matter is a rate case, correct?
Yes.
And you are aware that what the basis of the rate increase is for, correct?
Yes.
And just trying to go through it to make sure that we're on the same page. You're aware this is for a 50-cent increase to all rides, correct? And it's intended as a pass-through fee from the riding public to it. From what we've established yesterday is about 37 cents to the patent holder and about 12.5 cents to the technology provider, correct?
That's what I heard.
Yeah. And if we want, we could just say just a 50-cent pass-through fee from the riding public to a recipient.
Correct.
We faded out. Oh, excuse me. So 50-cent increase from the riding public to a recipient, correct? And he said yes, I believe, right?
Yes.
And just to confirm, you are aware that the basis of the request for this rate increase is because there has been an alleged infringement. Is that correct?
Sure.
And when Mr. Yorio was up here talking about the technology, I just kind of want to understand your position. Do you believe that your technology that has been essentially, I guess, created at Captain, I'm not sure what the correct term is, do you believe that it actually infringes another's patent?
Objection, it calls for a legal.
I'm going to sustain that.
Are you aware of any of your actions infringing on anyone else's work?
Objection, it calls for
Overruled.
Yeah, right. I am not a patent expert by any means. So no, I have not reviewed the patents at length. And anything discussed about whether or not we infringe would be attorney-client privilege in the first place.
I understand, and I don't want you to violate that. I just kind of wanted to know where your mindset was. Now, I also want to know, and I don't believe this has been asked before, but are you aware of any of your work being required under statute within the state of Nevada?
Objection vague, ambiguous.
I'm going to allow it.
Yeah, can you be more specific? Of course, when it relates to the tariff schedule, that is a regulated item. We have to follow that regulation.
Is there anything else, because before this morning, or excuse me, well, even before this morning, with your direct testimony and with your deposition, and even during the course of this testimony, you talked a lot about your technology. I'm just wondering if you are aware of any of your technology being required under statute for like a public policy purpose, from your perspective.
Yes, anything that the board would so order, we would comply with, whether that deals with the flat rate zones, tariff schedule, the surcharges, or anything else in that matter.
And is there anything that you are aware of that is not required, but is just beneficial? Whether it assists with efficiency purposes or it just makes your product better?
Well, of course. Full purpose, so to help the operators be more efficient.
No further questions. Thank you.
Any redirect, Mr. Yorio?
Nothing further. May I ask one question?
As to Ms. Guerra's question. Yes.
Mr. Bordenaro, in your development work, do you copy or plagiarize anyone else's work?
Sure.
Thank you.
Any follow-up, Mr. Yorio? Okay. Any of the other parties have any follow-up on what Mr. Scherer asked?
No.
Okay. Witness is excused.
Captain I'd like to call the next witness, Mr. Gerald Bell.
I'm going to object. Mr. Bell did not submit any written testimony. He has a deposition that was submitted, but because he was listed as a witness, but then he did not submit any written testimony.
Is the order written in such a way that there is a requirement? And Mr. Scherer, I guess I would ask, can you give me a copy of the order that shows that there's a requirement written testimony be submitted?
I want to pull.
Well, let's go ahead and do that now. So I don't want to waste the time. We can go off the record for about 5 minutes while we're finding it. Steve? Yep.